Hello.
Hello.
Would you like to tell us about your film and the making of it?
Yes. If you are Italian, you live in Italy, you make documentaries, commissioning editor from TV asked for a film about mafia, spaghetti, and Italian food. So it was very difficult for me to make this kind of film, an international film about my personal passion of music. So I want just make a film about my passion for music and my passion for records. And with this film, I want to prove that vinyl culture is not only or just collecting records, but it's something really that has a very, very big weight on the human heritage. So vinyl is a human heritage.
Okay.
So, and I think that this was the most important topic in the film. So, the other reason why I made this film was to demonstrate that vinyl culture is not just collecting. So, this is the reason why, through my private investigation, this film is a kind of road trip movie inside the grooves to show how a lot of people that are involved with vinyl. So, it's a kind of vinyl mania for me is a kind of declination of all the aspects of the culture for vinyl. For example, DJs is one of the most important aspects, of course, but also go behind the records and discover how a record is made.
Yeah.
So,
and also, of course, in a digital age where the value of downloads is going down all the time and people are stealing them and swapping them and all the rest of it, then a piece of vinyl is something that a band can take to a gig and sell, and it gives a physical presence once again to the music.
exactly. So, finally, after I asked myself, but why they buy again vinyl? So young people that were born in a digital era buy vinyl. It's because fashion, it's because of trendy. I don't think so. I think they need something really physical that we are losing today with the digital. They need an experience.
Should we find out just how many people have bought vinyl in the last 12 months? Amazing. There you go.
Great.
5 years ago, that would have been unthinkable, really.
Yeah.
Those numbers.
Yeah.
It's great.
So it was a big adventure for us, and also for my production company. For them was the first film about music. It was very difficult to go inside the music industry, walking about music right and whatever. So, but we have successful because we arrived to combine a kind of strange method. So I produced myself for many, many years before to start the official production, looking around with my camera and made my researches. And so we have some money from institutions and television, European television, but at the end we wanted to produce a beautiful object for people about this film, a beautiful DVD. And we have success with a crowdfunding campaign that we put on internet, on Kickstarter. For people that don't know, Kickstarter is one of the best American platforms that support creative projects. So we call the campaign 33 in 45, just playing the game with the number of the formats. And at the end of the campaign, the last day was really, really bad because we needed $6,000 to reach our goal.
Yes.
It was a big moment of panic, but at the end we had $37,000, so $4,000 more than.
So we again just check, do people know about Kickstarter? Or the UK equivalent, like Pledge Music, where the beauty is that you set a target and a date for which your project needs the funds, and by the amount of funds you need, and then you just get people to pledge something in exchange for you offer them certain things in exchange for a pledge. So
Exactly.
if you get £100, then you get your name on the credits as a producer, or if you give them £200, they come around to make dinner for you, whatever. You can escalate it like that. For £500, the band comes around and plays in your living room. It's that kind of thing. But the great thing about it is if you don't reach your target on time, then everybody walks away. The credit cards aren't charged, and you're no worse off. So it's a brilliant way of funding it. And of course, you start with your film out of debt, or the album, or whatever it is you've made. So it's fantastic that you've been able to do that. Can we get the DVD in this country?
Yes, of course, thanks to proper music.
That's what we like. Fantastic.
Finally, is a distributor.
So, Paolo Campana, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I've kind of worked in the industry for about 15, 16 years producing records, and I think what's kind of interesting is we're here to sort of talk about DIY, but unfortunately what tends to happen when people start talking about DIY is they want to really end up getting signed to a major record label, and that's the kind of the point of most people's idea of what a DIY, campaign is all about. And I think we're in a transitional time. I mean, with technology, we can produce film, TV, music, literature, and we can make that very cheaply. We can distribute it almost for no cost at all. So the value is very little. We can make quite good profits. I've read somewhere that you only need 1,000 dedicated fans to buy your output, and you can make a living out of music. But yet there still seems to be this concept that I want to do this just to gain the attraction of major record labels. There we go, there's a record label calling right now. And I think that I think we are in a transitional time. I think we still are looking to the majors to help break us in the mainstream. I know a lot of friends who are producing music. I've been fortunate enough to be in record deals, and unfortunate because 90% of all music that gets signed never gets released, and 90% of all of that music never recoups. So you're right at the bottom of the food chain when you're actually producing and you're signing. When you sign a record to a record label, you're getting probably 10% of that record sales, and they're taking out all their costs, all their expensive lunches and hotels. Nothing against Sony, obviously.
No troubles. I was expecting this.
And it's really funny because I see a lot of people struggling, and they'll work really, really hard. They'll relentlessly be tweeting and whatever sort of now social media, and they'll only kind of just scrape the surface. They'll only probably make 100, 200 sales. And what they really want is they want the big push from the record companies. And I've seen a lot of people end up just having to pay, pluggers and independent management companies to actually A&R their projects and stuff to still try to get them. The unfortunate reality is, although we're in a DIY culture, it's definitely able to facilitate the making and producing. I think the established labels still have that huge distribution network. There's a huge kind of power that they actually have.
It's not only that, though, isn't it? It's they have the machinery
Absolutely.
that's just had 60 years' experience in putting stuff in front of the public.
Absolutely.
And not just in the UK, but globally, so that when Ed Sheeran or Rizzlekicks had made their own waves to get to where they were last year, they then took it to a major who suddenly did it globally, and they became overnight sort of
I
famous.
think what's really encouraging is seeing artists now taking control of their copyright, following on from the end there. And I think that artists that are savvy are looking to labels to, distribute them, but not own the copyrights forever. Licensing deal. Muse started this years ago. Basement Jaxx do it. Calvin Harris does it. All of the wise or well advised people are actually taking control of their copyright, which is really the essence of why George Michael and Prince really fell out with their record labels. Prince is releasing much more music than ever, but he's just not on the mainstream radar. I think you've got to decide whether you want to be part of that big mainstream radar or not.
But wouldn't you say, though, Prince being a good case in point, because he did drop off the mainstream radar, but then his last album shipped 2 million copies in the UK because he gave it away with the Daily Mirror?
Well, I think you've got to look at new strategies to actually, a lot of people are just giving away their music and just seeing their touring or their merchandise, and that's kind of puts everyone in a very
dodgy position.
In a dodgy position. I think we've got to settle down on that. But I don't think, music ultimately is culture. It's not commerce in my mind. I think we've monetized it and we're very used to that. But, I think fundamentally you do it, because it's art, isn't it, really? And I think that's all I've got to say.